How's everybody doing? I know, I spent so much time bitching and complaining, but the ice storm is over and the riding is soon to commence. So this short little video I'm going to do today really isn't going to have any riding yet, even though the weather is perfect for it. I thought it might be a good idea to go over some of the things that I do to make sure that my bike is prepared to ride, especially after it's been sitting for like 5 days like it has been. So the first thing I want to show you guys is this. This right here, if you can see it on the camera, is where my battery tender hooks up. Let me tell you guys something. It's super important to keep your bike on a battery tender if it's going to be sitting for any period of time. I'm a firm believer of bikes are meant to be ridden, not just sit around. And if you are going to get yourself in a situation where you're not going to be able to ride for maybe a week or so, it's a good idea to throw it on a tender. I don't care what kind of weather it is. So the first thing I'm going to do is disconnect the tender. I'll roll it out and I'm going to show you guys a little bit of what I check over per request, because some people were wondering what exactly I do to check before I go for a ride. So obviously, guys, one of the first things I'm going to do is I'm going to walk around the bike and take a good look at the tires, take a good look at the overall frame, make sure the last time I rode it there wasn't any anything that might have happened to the frame, any of the lights cracked, any major issues or anything like that. So I always do a quick walk around, just kind of do a visual inspection of the bike before I do anything else. Now, I haven't started it yet, and I wanted to do this cold first because I wanted to show you guys one of the important things, I think anyway, is to check my oil level. Now, on the Honda Shadow 750 American Classic Edition 2003, the oil dipstick is right down here. If you can see this, and then we got this down here. So what you do is this is the oil fill actually right here. I unscrew it and I check it cold. And there's the oil level on that. It's looking good. So that's one of the first things I do. Check the oil level. Make sure that cold, before I start it, it's got plenty of oil. Then I walk around on this side over here and I look at the chain, make sure the chain still looks clean. I don't know if you guys can see that very well, and that I have not too much play in the chain at all. If you have a chain driven bike, guys, one of the most important things to do is check that chain often, because it can become slack, right? Yeah, so, and you don't want any issues with your chain coming off the sprocket or anything like that when you're moving down the road. Obviously, if you're shaft driven, or if you are belt driven, you don't have as much to worry about with that. But this being an older bike, it is chain driven. Now, of course, guys, another thing that you may think I'm skipping is the tire pressure. I do always inspect my tires. These tires are relatively new. I've got these about 8 months ago. And as you can see, there's no rot or anything, or any dry or flat spots around the tire itself. I've already checked the back. I'm looking at the front. I think you guys can get a better view from this angle. I check my tread to make sure it's looking pretty good. And you can see I still have the little nipples on it. I don't know if that picks up very well on camera, but these are still relatively new tires for the miles I've driven it. I also check just the overall condition of the wheel itself, make sure there's no cracks or anything like that. But then the most important thing that you guys might think I'm missing is the pressure, the tire pressure. Well, if you see right here on my stem, You see this weird looking thing right here? That's actually a tire pressure monitoring system. So instead of having to go ahead and, get a tire pressure gauge out and unscrew the thing and check the actual pressure in the tire, I can actually just turn my tire pressure monitoring system on, which is hooked up to my battery. It's right here. I did get this off of Amazon. I am not sponsored in any way, shape, or form. The brand name is Psychic, and I believe it costs about $50 for this particular system. But this is a Bluetooth system that is connected to that cap I showed you down here on the tire, and there's another cap that I've replaced on my back tire, which are part of this sensor monitoring system. And as you can see, hopefully on here, I'll try to shield it. It's showing the front tire pressure is a little bit low at 29 and my back tires at 36. I really enjoy the tire pressure monitoring system over having to check it with a air pressure tire gauge, but obviously if you don't have an air pressure tire gauge, you can go ahead and check it the normal way. The next thing I do is I come down here and I turn my gas on. Now this is gonna be a cold start, guys. It's been 5-6 days now, and all I've really had done on this was the battery tender plugged in. I haven't come out and started it or anything else. You and me are going to find out together if it needs to be choked. Here goes nothing. That, guys, is that Honda reliability fired up first thing. Next thing I'm going to do is check my lights. I told you guys I ride with my brights on, so I'm going to walk around and I'm going to check my headlight and my running lights, and they're running just fine. Walk around the back. Hopefully you can hear me. My license plate light's on. My running light in the back's running good. It's looking good. So I'm going to go ahead and do a quick check on my turn signals. We'll go left first. Check that. Looking good in the back. Looking good in the front. You just depress that to cancel it. We'll go to the right. This time we'll check the front and the right front. Looking good. And of course we'll walk around to the back. Right rear. Looking good. Go ahead and cancel these by pressing in. See, and that stops. Okay. Next thing I'm going to do is I can see in the reflection down here, but I'm going to step on my brake to see if my brake light comes on. Hopefully I can let you guys see this as well. I got to stretch it a little bit here. We've got perfect. We've got perfect brake lights, signal lights, headlights looking good. We're all ready to go. Obviously, make sure you got enough fuel in it. And then, guys, what can I say? Look at today. Well, all you got left to do is ride. But guys, if you do this automatically every day, it's something that you just get so used to. I actually have to think about talking about it because I'm so used to doing it on a daily basis. Anytime I get out, I walk around the bike, I check the tire pressures with my tire pressure monitoring system, I check my oil. Not every time I stop, understandably, but every time the bike's been sitting overnight, especially if I've had it out for a long period of time on a ride or something like that, I make sure that my oil's good, especially check underneath where I park it to make sure I have no leaks of fluid or anything like that. And oh, another thing that's very important to check on the Honda Shadow 750 American Classic Edition 2003 is you also have, if I can find it down here for you, right down here, This is a liquid cooled. See the radiator? This is liquid cooled. So I always check and make sure that my reservoir, which I'm not sure it's picking it up very well on camera, is full, and that is full to the fill line down there. I don't know if you guys can see it, but also check that as well. Obviously, if you're air cooled, that's nothing you have to worry about. But just a quick little tutorial, guys, on what I look at every day before I start riding. Yeah, so like I said, the only other thing to do now is get on and ride.